before the admission, so that at least people get to know what we do and how we do it. In that sense, we thought that probably
you're getting a good response from other.
Yes, programs. In the sense that I see hundreds of people watching those videos, which are then placed on YouTube. These recordings are, for example, I saw economics. They were only just because we started with economics. There were only 2 people who joined, but I see the maximum number of people are viewing these recordings. That's very encouraging, because I hope that as we pick up from here on, because registration has just begun and the CUET has not come out with their results as yet. So we are still in the first phase of where the students are, registering their form and basic details, etc., their +2 marks. But the process will be completed when the CUET comes up with the results. Only then probably we'll take it to the next level in that sense. So we thought we'll start it and we'll talk about ourselves in this process when we are kind of building up for that, thinking that probably we will have, like as you said, in the last 2 cycles, because of Corona and other things, there were few seats were vacant in some schools. So I thought, why not talk about ourselves also in this new world? So that is what that is the idea behind this, essentially introducing our program, courses and school comprehensively to the people outside, or those who are interested in that sense. And typically, even though there is a slot for SOS, where, for example, from this SHS, Dipti will be making a presentation. But in the morning session, Hani and Vinod were very comprehensively Okay, so that's and I see Bindu. Hello, Bindu. Oh, see this is
Actually, camera on करने से ना थोड़ा bandwidth ज़्यादा चाहिए.
Good to see each other, So these are the things which we actually which we motivated us or made us to kind of think of this webinar series. And I see that there are my division people are already there, but I think let us start with this session, and I request Professor Krishna Menon to kind of make these presentations and introduce the program and whatever that she thinks about her stay here in Ambedkar University for these many years and all that. Yes, thank you. Over to you.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. Thank you, Dr. Santosh Singh, Dean Student Services, for organizing this webinar and giving us an opportunity to talk about the MA Gender Studies program and later the PhD in Women's and Gender Studies program. So we offer 2 programs. I shall introduce the MA program with the help and support of my colleagues, Dr. Shubhra Nagalia and Dr. Bindu Kesi. And later, Dr. Bindu Kesi will introduce the PhD program in Women's and Gender Studies.
Right.
We'll talk only about some of the aspects of our program that we think might interest potential aspirants who wish to join the MA Gender Studies program. For further details and any other technical information, students are encouraged to consult the website from time to time or get in touch with any of us. Our email IDs are available on the university website. So this will really be a kind of an introduction to the MA Gender Studies program. And maybe, it will help us if we go with the presentation that the program team, the faculty team has prepared. So please let me know if you can see this. At the outset, I'd like to say that any program is as good as its faculty. I hope Santosh and others can see the presentation.
Yes, Krishna. It's looking very nice.
We have a stellar faculty, even if I'm saying it myself. Dr. Shubhra Nagalia, Dr. Lobitoli Jimo, Dr. Rachna Chaudhary, and Dr. Bindu Kesi. They lead this program team with their energy, creativity, academic competence, research, and most importantly, their commitment to students. They are, of course, widely published scholars, and you can see an array of books and papers and articles. These are just some book covers. There are so many that Dr. Santosh Singh would have to give us another presentation to share their research work. So this is just a glimpse. As most of you probably know by now, Ambedkar University, Delhi was established in 2008 by the government of Delhi. And gender studies, as you can see here, was established in 2010. So in that sense, it's one of the earliest programs of the university, and very, very strongly, mapping itself onto the initial vision and mission of the university. So it is truly an interdisciplinary space. It is an exploratory space. It encourages new ways of thinking and reflecting. And it's located within the School of Human Studies, which means it's really trying to look at the question of gender as one of the dimensions of human existence. What does it mean to be a human when you see it from a gendered perspective? So the academic programs in the school, of which gender studies is a part, it focuses on the promises and potential of the human, along with actual historical exclusions and marginalizations. So anybody who's interested in the question of gender would immediately warm up to these ideas of historical exclusion and marginalizations, and our course structures very ably reflect this. I'd like you to look at the pie chart that talks about the MA Gender Studies here, the curriculum and the thematic focus of our curriculum. You can see that 18% of our curriculum focuses on critical theory, and the rest of it, so it's not only textbook learning or theoretical learning. We really do believe that theory, skill, global outlook, employability, innovative approach to learning, experiential learning, all of these are interlinked. You can see that we set aside about 29% of our curriculum to skill development. And this we are able to do because of our focus on internship, which is built into the curriculum of the MA Gender Studies. We do attach importance to experiential learning. Although the chart may say 2%, we actually have a full course which is experiential in nature, called Experiencing the Self. And that course actually bleeds into all other courses that we study and teach along with our students. Our courses are truly global and intersectional, and extremely mindful of the need to decolonize the kind of literature and material that we use in class. We are also very, very mindful of developing research and writing ability skill in our students. And employability is another concern of our curriculum, because the internship, which is built into our curriculum, often becomes the stepping stone for further employment. Our pedagogic and evaluative techniques are actually influenced and infused by our commitment to feminist thinking and feminist learnings, which really means that, we respect the individual learner, we respect the individual student, and we offer an array of forms of assessment, from oral, written, group, analytic. Even I know colleagues have been using video vlogs and blogs and all kinds of formats, diary keeping, book reviews. group presentations, and we do not believe in a competitive kind of an approach to learning. Rather, we respect each learner and their ability to learn and reflect and weave their experiences with the curriculum that we are offering to them. I'd like to say a couple of words about the gender studies discipline itself. As some of our aspirants might know already, in northern India, there are very few universities that offer a gender studies curriculum. There are women studies courses. There aren't too many that offer gender studies. And in that sense, Ambedkar University is truly a pioneer. That is not to say that we disregard or move away from the glorious legacy of the women's studies approach, because that is what really led us to the point of creating gender studies MA curriculum. We are in that sense inheritors of the women's movement, its struggles, and women's studies. So our program is constantly reminding itself, the students and the teachers, of this glorious legacy that we have. We are student-centric, and that is evident from the kind of student feedback and the importance that we attach to student feedback. We receive consistently good student feedback, where our students have repeatedly acknowledged the dynamism and the creativity of the curriculum that we offer, the kind of consciousness raising that we try to do, the breaking of the binary between the field and the classroom, theory and practice, and the opening up of new vistas for employment. As you can see from the slide here, we have, created opportunities to expose our students and initiate them into new kinds of avenues for them to take their learning. And we have a plethora of seminars, conferences, and other opportunities made available to students, both within the university and outside. We offer our students reading and writing workshops, field-based learning, workshops in collaboration with government agencies. We've used performance-based learning. We've also used films and documentaries. We've organized special lectures. And of course, we have had some kind of career counseling. Some of our best practices, I would say, is that we are committed to the idea of learning knowledge which is engaged. So engaged social sciences would be the broad framework within which we would locate ourselves. We are constantly in search of new objects of inquiry that are otherwise marginalized by conventional or what is called mainstream epistemological approaches. We are committed to interdisciplinarity, thereby creating new sites of inquiry, new kinds of knowledge, and obviously new methodologies, requiring new pedagogies, new curriculum, and thereby contributing to knowledge production. Students and teachers together co-create new knowledge in the gender studies program. We've helped our students actually move in policy direction by rethinking policy in practice. So to bring in the learning that they have from the curriculum of gender studies and applying it to government and international policies, that has been a very important area of employment for our students. We see our classroom as a field and the field as a classroom. So this has meant a seamless movement for our students from the within quotes confines of the university out in the field, especially in the NGO and civil society sector. There is a constant emphasis on knowing and doing. This is actually center stage in the internship course. We are, of course, committed to rigorous academic training and production of new knowledge, as I've already said, which is showcased in the course called dissertation writing, where the students produce a dissertation, which is really contribution to human knowledge. We attach a lot of importance to group work, and in all, our students have always had happy memories of their time in the gender studies program. And we've been very fortunate to have students who have been trailblazers and have won all kinds of awards, secured admission to internationally reputed places of learning, taken up employment within government agencies, international agencies, become filmmakers. So the range of employability of students equipped with gender knowledge is really extensive. And I'm really happy and proud to be part of the gender studies program. I now request Dr. Nagalia to say a few words about the course structure, following which Dr. Bindu Kesi will tell us something about the student profile and student support mechanisms. These will be general introductions in the way in which it will be presented. Thank you, Dr. Singh.
Oh, I think it's perfect. That's the way we wanted it to be. Thanks, Krishna.
Dr. Santosh, otherwise we can go on for a discussion, or
No,
I'll just take a few minutes.
Let's follow this. You, and after you, Bindu can say a few things, and then we can have a little conversation. But I think let's follow this. Yeah.
Okay, so without further ado, thanks Dr. Santosh Singh for this webinar. And of course, we are steered as you can see, by Professor Krishna Menon as someone who's a professor in our gender studies young and small department, but a vibrant one nevertheless. The structure of the MA program is much like other MA programs. It fulfills the requirement of 64 credits, and there are close to 21 courses spread over 4 semesters. And the unique part about each program is also where it is located. As Professor Menon said, we are located in School of Human Studies. So that influences the way we look at our organizing our entire corpus of critical theory and skill and so on and so forth that was mentioned. So we do have something called foundation courses that run across the different programs in School of Human Studies housed in SHS. And those foundation courses, the aim is to give a sort of an overarching understanding of not only the location of each individual program, whether it is disability studies or gender studies or psychology, and to how to look at the human, but also it anchors in some way, critically, each of these extremely key courses like philosophy, epistemology, and so on and so forth, and put them to the scrutiny of margins like gender, disability, and so on and so forth. So it's a very rich exchange that happens in foundation courses. We have internal electives, which give you an opportunity to have a range of courses, which are also sort of domain specific, region specific, and they give you a lot of variety in case you want to look at because there is a huge corpus of work by now that has been accomplished within the field of women and gender studies. And to decide the core is one thing, but that also means that a lot of domains are there from where elective courses have or can be offered. Of course, the core courses form the critical thinking and critical theory, a large part of what each student we feel should be equipped with, which includes things, very basic things like labor, sexuality, key terms of gender. It includes sociological categories like family and movements, feminist movements, and so on and so forth. So that would constitute our core courses. We have, very importantly, we have a large corpus devoted to research methods. And that is one of the intersections between skill and critical thinking that we put a lot of importance in. So we not only have an introduction to basic social science research methods, but also feminist engagements with those research methods. And that feeds into a kind of a pet project that each student learns to nurture. And the output of it is in the shape of a dissertation, where you learn to like formulate a kind of a problematic and build an argument and use research methods to, and you take that wherever you go then. Of course, internship is one of the stellar, tough, but stellar balance between the field and the classroom, which, as Professor Menon said, that because of the way we do internship, it's not just placing students somewhere, but it is to get them to report critically back from their internship opportunities, that allows them to think of those places also as sites of knowledge. And that is how they learn that field is also a classroom. So we've had an excellent run. I remember I'm one of the first generation faculty in gender studies. In 2010, Dr. Santosh Singh would remember also, we had 10 students. And we have steadily climbed, and we are very much in touch with most of our 10 students even today. And so we have steadily climbed the graph, not only of the number of students, but the variety of students who come into our classrooms and demand a serious thinking on feminist pedagogy, what that should be and what that means. So the course structure, of course, it's an evolving dynamic and a changing sort of a thing, but more or less this is the framework in which we try to incorporate all these theoretical questions as well as questions of employability, global language, so that you are equipped to go to Harvard, Sussex, where I would say that more than 40% of our crop goes and currently has been through some international university out there in America and Europe. So we do put you in touch with global circuits of knowledge production and therefore employability also. And of course, the hope is that we all come out as critical thinking and productive members of society. Yeah, so that's basically gender studies for you. Santosh, you're on mute.
I'm just thanking you for for your presentation. And now I'd request AC Bindu, our colleague, to add to what these two.
I don't have much to say. These are general provisions of the university that help the students to probably survive higher education challenges of our times. Ambedkar University does offer provisions like fee waivers for students. The university might collect the fee when the student joins, but the policy is to reimburse the fee when the correct documents are produced. So,
no, but Bindu, can I just come in? For the
yes,
SC/ST students, it is 100% fee waiver from the start.
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
That's something which we very proudly say that I think this is something exceptional, and of course there have been debates about it, but the fact is that we can say this very proudly.
Absolutely.
That if our claim has been inclusivity and access to higher education for the people coming from the margin, first generation, I think this is where AUD stands out for.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's a commendable thing of the university, and we have seen the increasing numbers of SC/ST students after this provision came into force. We do have a student welfare fund as well as scholarships for students. I also need to mention that there are travel grants that are given for students to attend conferences, including conferences abroad. So some of our students have very happily used these provisions, and I'm proud to say that gender studies students have used some of these provisions. So these are the welfare things that the university has, and this is university-wide. So the students might be interested in these things also, because it's a very important. The hostel facility itself is still not in a fully functional situation. But being a Delhi university, we are also expecting 80% of students from within the state. So probably this is the reason why the student hostel facilities are, but we have a limited number of seats for women students in the hostel. So these are the provisions for an aspiring student to look forward to. Can I go to the PhD presentation?
I will add a few things here, because
Yes.
it is true that we don't have our own hostels as such, but we share with IGT2W here in Kashmiri Gate, and there is another hostel which is Savitribai Phule Girls Hostel in Karampura, which is open for our students. And we started last semester, so I'm sure next year there will be much more number of people. I think last time it was just 10 students who joined. We are hoping that more students will join there. So that is one thing. Secondly, there is some confusion about about our identity, for instance, on a different level. Like there is a college by Ambedkar College in Delhi University, Bhimrao Ambedkar College, and many a times people confuse us with that college, and we have to say that we are Dr. B.R. Ambedkar University, Delhi. 1, 2, we are a state university, GNS, Government of National Capital Territory of Delhi. So we are a state university of Delhi Government University, and 85% of our seats are reserved for Delhi students. But at the same time, who is a Delhi student has to be understood. Delhi, say for example, if somebody is trying for or looking for a seat in MA in Gender Studies, then those who have done their graduation from Delhi colleges, they are all eligible for that 85%. Or if somebody is looking for a BA seat in BA programs and they have done their +2 from any school in Delhi, then they are also eligible for 85%. That has to be. I'm saying this in all webinars, essentially to clear the confusion around all of this. So this must be kept in mind. In fact, our brochure is there every time, every cycle of admission we put up our brochure. A new brochure is already uploaded. Some of you, these aspiring students, must go through those pages, at least the last 20 pages, which is about various technical things about reservation and all that. So that is very important for us. Also for the PhD program, I'm sure my colleague Bindu is going to be talking about PhD program in gender studies, but there are very generous scholarships that we have from Ambedkar University for our students. Not just the JRF and UGC, JRF, SRF, but also non-net people also get a stipend from here in university, and we pay, at least other universities pay some 8,000 rupees, we pay 16,000 rupees, which is almost double of what other universities pay in this category. Also, we have these merit-based, what we call AUD MRF, 100 scholarships have been instituted, I think last year or just about, I think last year or before that, I think we have instituted something called AUD Merit Research Fellowship for the PhD students. I think these are some of the things to add to what my colleague was talking about, the enabling environment for people who have these economic issues in terms of pursuing their higher studies. So that I think we are very, very aware of and very, very careful about, in the sense that, so not having enough money should not dissuade or discourage people to access these spaces. So that is the thing that I wanted to add to. Now please move on to the PhD program, Bindu.
Thank you, Dr. Santosh Singh, because these are also information, this very crucial information for PhD students also. I'll just do a very short presentation. It's a continuation of the MA. 1 second. able to share my PPT.
If you
I must
send it to me, I'll share it. Pinny.
Yeah, I'll just see whether, I don't know why I'm not able to see. Is it shared now?
Yes, your screen has opened, but you've not yet clicked on the presentation.
Oh, I have, but I think it's not shown to you. I'll send it to you, Krishna, then.
Let me use this time to communicate a few more things. Are you done? Are you?
Sure.
Yeah, we have not yet started registration for the PG programs. As you know that at the moment, registration for UG programs have started because UIT is through with the exams, and then we are waiting for the results. But the same sequence will be followed once the PG exams are over, and the registrations will start for that also. But at the moment, UG registration is on the first stage of UG registration, where students are, or those who have opted for Ambedkar University, are filling the forms like basic details, marks for the +2 and all that. Once the results are out, they will fill in the form entirely, and then the third stage will be a merit list will be generated, etc. As per our reservation policies. As I said, 85% for Delhi and 15% for outside Delhi students. Right. Yeah, you're ready?
You have it. You have the slide with you. It is the PhD slides that. So we have a 5-year PhD program, and it's begun in 2019. Sorry, not 2019. 1 second. 2013, we began the PhD program. MPhil and PhD program we began in collaboration with Center for Women's Development Studies, and the collaboration lasted till 2019. And it's one of the most important women's and gender studies PhD program in the country, I can safely say, I suppose. We were fortunate enough to take a lot of students because we were in collaboration, and at that time we could take many students, and that makes us one of the really heavy programs in AUD itself. And probably this is reaping time for us. Many of our students are submitting, and we have had very interesting subjects coming from our students. One of our first PhDs worked in the intersection of law and psychoanalysis, and she's happily employed in Ambedkar University itself now. We have also had students working on what is that? Female chefs. And we had another PhD which looked at construction of masculinities among Malayali Muslim men. These are some of our early PhDs, and I remember a lot of PhDs have been submitted after that and awarded. Can you move to the next slide, Krishna? So this is again division of our curriculum thematically. This second slide is PhD WGS, and you can see that this follows from the philosophy of teaching that MA Gender Studies itself is based on. Just to give you the titles of the courses that students will be doing during their coursework in the first 2 semesters. The first semester, they will be doing a course called Feminist Theories. It's a 4-credit course. And another course called Research Methodologies through Exemplary Work, again a 4-credit course. They'll also be asked to take an elective course, which hopefully will lead them to articulate their research subject more clearly. In the second semester, they again get an opportunity to do a 4-credit elective course, as well as a course that leads hopefully to their synopsis, titled Guided Study. This is a specially designed course where the student will be bonding with a prospective supervisor. This is a time when the supervisor and the student can get to know each other and see whether a long-term relationship is possible or not, whether they are intellectually suitable or not. So this guided study usually leads towards the sharpening of the research proposal that the student would have submitted during admission, which might lead them to submit a longer synopsis. So the third semester is usually used for the submission of the synopsis, which also includes probably, it is a field-based study. The student might be encouraged to do a pilot field work, etc. After the passing of the synopsis, which is one of the milestones, the student will be encouraged to go to different libraries or start field work, and then officially any time this will also lead to the formation of research advisory committee of the student, and any time once the synopsis is passed and the work is done, every semester the RAC meets and assesses the progress of the student. So anytime the submission is possible, once the RAC agrees to that the work is done. So 5 years is usually the time given for submission. We follow the UGC rules, and women students and persons with disabilities get 2 more years for submission. The other cases are the bodies that govern the research student are research supervisor, research advisory committee, and which comes administratively under RSC, which comes under SCR. This is the highest research body in the university. So this is what I have to say about the courses, etc. You have already heard about the teachers and who all are involved in these programs. Krishna had spoken. So can you move to the next slide, Krishna? These are some of the projects and grants that are available, that are running in School of Human Studies. This is just to show that there are also other research opportunities available in the school. Can we move ahead? These are the collaborations in which the school is participating. We can move ahead. This is one of our research projects which got concluded, and this was an international collaboration. Just saying this as an example, out of which we have also not just produced seminars and workshops, but an edited volume. A very important contribution in feminist pedagogy has come out of this research project. We can go to the next slide, Krishna. So these are the degrees awarded. The numbers have actually changed. We have had more submissions, at least 6 students have submitted from PhDs, not submitted, awarded degrees from. Thank you. So this is about PhD in Women's and Gender Studies.
Yeah, so we are into the last 15 minutes or 10 minutes. Can we take some? I don't see many students here, but nevertheless, the point is that as I said, that this conversation is going to be, or this presentation, series of presentation here, will be available for the general public or students who are aspiring to join AOD. So, but what are the career prospects that Krishna, you have been here for long, and you have many years of experience in teaching. What kind of career path do you will talk about for the students who are wanting to opt for this MA in Gender Studies, for instance? Of course, Subra talked about the global networks and all that, which is very fine. But of course, there is a local something about for our students. So where all they go in this after they complete their master's program, our experience has been in Ambedkar University in general that in class of MA Sociology about 42, roughly about 4 or 5 will go for the longer walk, but the large number of them actually will go in different directions. For example, journalism and civil society, NGOs, this that. So similarly, what has been your experience like, you and others? What kind of career choices do they have? Because that's very important for these students. A large number of students who have just started are interested in this program, but still also are curious or would like to know more about their job opportunities and career paths, etc. Which not everybody has that kind of privilege to go for PhD and postdoc and all of this. So in that sense, would you like to respond to so that students can make up their minds? They are interested in the program, but they are also worried about what will happen to us, what kind of job we'll get. So if you can throw some light on this aspect, that would be really good.
Thank you, Santosh. So as far as employability is concerned, or the question of employment is concerned, the fact is that the program already takes into account this dimension by providing many avenues for students to develop and hone their skills, as well as to test their skills in terms of their understanding when they go out into the field to complete the 4-credit internship course. So I would like our aspirants to know that the internship is not an add-on activity, but in the program, in the MA Gender Studies program, it is seen as a core course. No student of MA Gender Studies can graduate without having completed that mandatory 4 credits. And in the doing of this internship. So this internship, as my colleague Dr. Nagalia said earlier, it's not just a mindless work placement, but it's really a careful consideration that the faculty member and the students embark upon, and they identify a suitable location where the students can test their understanding of the complexities of gender. They can engage with fields as diverse as writing, journalism, literature, law, health, natural sciences. So to give you an example, one of our students has just secured an internship at a leading private university. She's going to look at the Drosophila fly and try and establish the nature of gendered behavior in this fly. So she had a background in zoology, MSc zoology, and the university was looking for a person who could bring together science, natural science, and gender. And here was our student who was an ideal candidate for that. And now she is undertaking this work, and we are very hopeful that she will join this kind of research even after she completes. And that's what happens typically. There are students who, it might sound like an exaggeration, but the fact is that in the world of policy and government decision making today, there is absolutely no way that any policy can be made without a so-called gender expert. So whether it is the designing of toilets, whether it is the designing of bus stops, whether it is landscape and lighting of gardens and streets in Delhi, whether it is mapping of Delhi by various safety apps that now are very common, whether it is writing, reading, law, pedagogy, school teaching, curriculum making, in all of these, our students have found suitable employment because of the skill that they have acquired, the skill to think from a gendered perspective, which yields very surprising and actually, tantalizing possibilities for employment because of that, because they're able to look at the same thing. So even in the world of fashion, in the world of performing arts, in the world of documentaries and filmmaking. So our students actually span this wide range. One of our students was part of the Oscar-winning team. So our student was in, receiving the award, the Oscar award, because she was part of the team that made a film on the politics around menstruation. And that training came to her because of her MA in gender studies. Our students are part of international organizations that look at women's initiatives in peace building in conflict-ridden contexts. So, and of course, the usual bureaucracy and law, these are, of course, avenues.
I want to give a couple of examples.
Yes,
just
sure.
very concretely, just to give you a range. For example, one of our students, Cheshta Arora, from 2016-2015 batch, I recently did an interview with what is called the Western Norway Research Institute, one of the most prestigious research institutes in Scandinavia, for a job position. She did her MA and she worked on Donna Haraway in her MA, which brought together the cyber manifesto, the concerns around the cyber technology today. She went on to do PhD in TIS, and she kept working with digitalization and so on and so forth. And then she applied to this institution. And very recently, a few months back, I did an in-depth conversation they were recruiting people, and she got the job. It's a very prestigious job. So she's in Norway just a couple of months back. The second example is last year's batch. So this is 2014-15 batch. This is batch 2020, Ayushi Mehta. She did her MA on UN resolution on peace, what you were saying. And she got a job in an organization called People, which works. She also applied in UNESCO, and her job is pending. Her response is pending. And she got a job in People, which works with governments, national and international governments on school systems. And she got that job. And another student from 2018-2017 batch got a job in a national, one of the state commissions of women, and is still an investigating officer in State Commission of Women. So you have a range, literally a range, in which students can pursue their own specific interest with a specialized edge to their training, which opens the market in special ways for them. Yeah.
Yeah, you were saying something, Krishna. You still like to continue? You were kind of.
No, I'd like to say that gender studies is actually, it equips our students to look at the world from a different vantage point. And that is their special skill, a vantage point that is very mindful of, as Shubhra said earlier, of the margins, of the inequalities and injustices. And I believe that every forward looking and progressive organization in a democracy is committed to redressal of these kind of inequalities. And therefore, any organization which has these kind of values inspiring it would want our students to work with them. So the sky is literally the limit. And because it's interdisciplinary, they are very comfortable working with all kinds of disciplinary domains. So whether, from the context of a high court judge, some of them have interned and gone on to work with research teams of leading lawyers and journalists, to medical doctors, to psychiatrists.
Publishers.
So the really, wide range of contexts for them. And we learn a lot. Through them, we learn a lot. So this co-learning is what characterizes our program, really. We learn with our students.
Would you also like to say something about that Ambedkar University Delhi has talked about for the concurrent employment and for some interesting schools? I mean, all schools are very interesting in the sense that the kind of transactions that happen there. So how does it help gender studies, for example, having these kind of multiple schools like School of Culture and Creative Expression, School of Design, and other schools, for example? What is the kind of relationship you have with other schools? Do you allow your elective basket to also be from these schools?
Our electives are open to the entire university. In fact, we do not stop even the core courses of ours being taken by students from other programs. We are very happy for students from other courses and other programs of study to come to our program. Our faculty members, so the School of Human Studies is already an incredibly and excitingly interdisciplinary space. So there's a lot of learning that happens. But in the past, our faculty members have been part of course teams in other schools, as have other schools participated in our program activities. But at this juncture, we don't really have that kind of concurrent teaching.
Oh.
But it is a possibility always.
Okay, great. So I think we are now almost left with some 4 or 5 minutes. If I can pose this broad question, what are the 3 things that you would like to say to those students who are just kind of the cusp? They want to make a decision about very exciting program and the way you presented and all of you. What are the 3 things you will say to them to join your program?
Shubhra, you want to go first?
I'll just pick one of them, that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because today knowledge is something which is interdisciplinary to survive. In every discipline, it is very, very interdisciplinary. Only if you are really committed to having a gender lens in terms of a specialization, then this is the course for you. But otherwise, you cannot do without gender in sociology, you cannot do without gender in economics, you cannot do gender without gender in sciences. And really, it's anachronistic to think of a world in which gender is not a part of your critical thinking.
Sure.
So, but if you want a training, a specialized kind of an edge, then gender studies is your program.
Bindu?
I think this is a truly interdisciplinary program, and we are, as faculty, we are from different disciplines, and we bring those strengths into our classrooms, and that in that sense, it will be a different experience for many students. And we try to be inclusive. So, yes, Krishna.
Yes. And as far as I'm concerned, I think most attractive thing about our program is that it's a democratic space. It's non-hierarchical. It's inclusive, and the teachers here are happy to learn. They're happy to be shown new ways of doing old things. They're happy to be shown new things. And I think this collective approach to knowledge creation is what is exciting about our program. Thank you.
I think we'll end here, and I would like to thank all three of you for your time. I know this is summer vacation, and I'm sorry I interrupted your summer vacation, but I thought all of us, I can see all of you smiling, so I know that it was worth it. So thank you very much. I think you enjoy your vacations. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Santosh.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.